I had always been a struggling artist, chasing my dream of creating masterpieces that would leave the world in awe. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into years, my canvas remained blank, devoid of inspiration. That was until the nightmarish paintings began to emerge from the depths of my sleep, each one more disturbing than the last. It started with a sense of unease, a gnawing feeling that something was amiss in my life. Night after night, I would wake up in a cold sweat, my mind plagued by vivid, horrifying dreams. In these dreams, I would stand before an easel, painting scenes that seemed to flow from the deepest recesses of my subconscious. The images I painted were grotesque, a reflection of the torment that had taken root within me. Twisted, nightmarish landscapes filled with monstrous figures and eerie, surreal landscapes. I painted with a fervor I had never known, my brushstrokes frenetic and wild, as if possessed by a malevolent force. The disturbing scenes would haunt me long after I awoke, lingering in the corners of my mind like a persistent shadow. But it was when I discovered that my dreams were becoming a horrifying reality that my life took a chilling turn. One morning, I awoke to find one of my dream paintings, the most nightmarish of them all, had materialized in my studio. The canvas depicted a grotesque figure, its eyes hollow and soulless, standing in a desolate, apocalyptic landscape. The room was filled with an oppressive aura, as if the figure in the painting had stepped out of the canvas and into my world. My heart raced as I realized that the painting was real, that the nightmare I had created in my sleep had become a horrifying reality. I stumbled back in terror, my mind reeling with disbelief. The nightmare had transcended the confines of my mind, and I was powerless to stop it. I knew that I had to find a way to break free from the cycle, to prevent my dreams from turning into nightmarish canvases that bled into reality. I sought the help of a sleep specialist, hoping to uncover the source of my disturbing dreams. But despite numerous tests and consultations, no medical explanation could be found. My dreams remained a haunting enigma, a malevolent force that threatened to consume me. As the days turned into weeks, more of my dream paintings manifested in the waking world. Each one brought with it a sense of dread and despair, as if the nightmares themselves were seeping into the fabric of reality. I became a recluse, barricading myself in my studio, desperate to escape the torment that had taken hold of my life. But no matter how hard I tried to avoid sleep, the dreams would come, and with them, the nightmarish paintings. One evening, as I stood before the easel in my sleep, I felt a presence beside me, a shadowy figure that seemed to materialize from the darkness. It whispered insidious words into my ear, urging me to paint, to bring forth the horrors of my subconscious. I painted with a feverish intensity, my hands trembling as the figure watched with malevolent satisfaction. The scene I created was more horrifying than any before, a nightmarish vision of chaos and despair. When I awoke, I was horrified to find that the painting had become a horrifying reality. The world outside my studio was in chaos, with monstrous creatures roaming the streets, and the skies filled with ominous, swirling storms. It was as if my nightmares had bled into the world, consuming everything in their path. Desperation gripped me as I realized that I had unleashed a malevolent force that threatened to devour everything I held dear. The shadowy figure that had whispered in my ear had become a terrifying presence in my life, an entity that sought to use my art as a conduit to bring its nightmarish visions to life. I knew that I had to confront the shadowy figure, to find a way to break free from its influence and put an end to the nightmare that had consumed my life. With every ounce of determination, I ventured into the darkest corners of my subconscious, searching for a way to confront the malevolent force that had taken hold of me. In the depths of my mind, I discovered a hidden reservoir of strength, a wellspring of creativity and imagination that had the power to counteract the darkness that had consumed me. With newfound resolve, I painted a canvas that defied the nightmares, a scene of beauty and light that stood in stark contrast to the horrors that had plagued me. As I painted, I felt the presence of the shadowy figure growing weaker, its power waning in the face of my creativity and determination. With a final stroke of the brush, I banished the malevolent force from my mind, severing its connection to my dreams and my art. When I awoke, the nightmare had ended. The world outside my studio had returned to normal, and the nightmarish paintings had vanished without a trace. I had defeated the shadowy figure that had tormented me, breaking free from its sinister influence. But the experience had left its mark on me, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human psyche. I knew that I would never be the same, that the nightmares and the malevolent force that had plagued me would forever be a part of my past. As I returned to my art, I channeled the horrors of my experience into my work, creating paintings that explored the depths of the human soul and the darkness that can lie within us all. I had survived the artist's nightmare, and I was determined to use my art as a means of catharsis and redemption, to exorcise the demons that had once held me captive. And so, I painted on, using my art as a beacon of light in a world that had once been consumed by darkness, a testament to the power of creativity and the indomitable spirit of the human soul.